Hi friends, welcome to Interactive Medicine. Today I take the topic about the cavernous sinus, its location, relations, tributaries and clinical significance. The cavernous sinus is located in the human head, is a true dural venous sinus, that means it is not a venous plexus. The word cavernous sinus means cave-like cavity because it is creating a cavity called the lateral cellular compartment. As like name indicate, the lateral cellular compartment locates lateral to sella turcica and it is bordered by the temporal and sphenoid bone. Look, we can see here the relations of cavernous sinus. Superiorly, it is bound by the optic tract, optic chiasma, and internal carotid artery. Optic chiasma, optic nerve, and internal carotid artery. Inferiorly by the greater wing of sphenoid bone. Medially, the sella turcica and sphenoid air sinus, we can see later. Laterally, the temporal lobe with the uncus, here we can see here. Anteriorly, the superior orbital fissure, and posteriorly by the apex of petrous temporal bone. Here we can see the apex of petrous temporal bone. We can see also another view of the cavernous sinus. It is medially bordered by the sella turcica, where it locates the pituitary gland, and also medially bordered by the sphenoidal air sinus. The cavernous sinus is two-paired and it contains, in the lateral wall, it contains the oculomotor nerve, trochlear nerve, ophthalmic branch of trigeminal nerve, maxillary branch of trigeminal nerve, and medially it contains the internal carotid artery and abducens. We already mentioned the structures within the lateral cellular compartment, laterally by the oculomotor, trochlear, ophthalmic, maxillary, medially by internal carotid artery and abducens nerve. The tributaries of cavernous sinus start from the superior ophthalmic vein and inferior ophthalmic vein. We also note the superficial middle cerebral vein, inferior cerebral vein, and sphenoparietal sinus. We can't see here, and it drains into the petrosal sinus, and that is superior and inferior, and ultimately leads to the internal jugular vein via the sigmoid sinus, and also draining with the emissary vein and deep fascia to the pterygoid plexus through the foramen of skull, mostly through the foramen ovale. We can see the pterygoid plexus here and deep facial vein. It is the cavernous sinus. The superior ophthalmic vein and inferior ophthalmic vein. We need to note these veins, that means the angular vein, because any injury to the angular vein or facial nerve leads to clotting in cavernous sinus. We can later study. The cavernous sinus syndrome. The potential cause of cavernous sinus syndrome include the metastatic tumors, direct extension of nasopharyngeal tumors, meningioma, pituitary tumors or pituitary apoplexy, aneurysms of intracavernous carotid artery, carotid cavernous fistula, bacterial infection causing cavernous sinus thrombosis, aseptic thrombosis, idiopathic granulomatous disease, and fungal infections. The cavernous sinus syndrome is medical emergency requiring prompt medical attention, diagnosis, and treatment. The carotid cavernous fistula means it is the condition if the internal carotid artery ruptures within the cavernous sinus and arteriovenous fistula is created. The lesions affecting the cavernous sinus may affect isolated nerves or all the nerves transversal through it. In patients with thrombophlebitis, we can write here. Wait a second. Thrombophlebitis. In patients with thrombophlebitis of the facial vein, the pieces of clot may be break off and enter into the cavernous sinus. Here we can see the facial vein. Because the cavernous sinus is connected the facial vein via superior ophthalmic vein. We can see the superior ophthalmic vein here. It is possible to get infection in cavernous sinus from an external face injury within the danger area of face. We already mentioned any injury, external injury to face leads to maybe leads to the injury to the facial veins or angular veins and leads to its clotting, and the clot may be the clot may be leads to cavernous sinus, and it will eventually leads to the compression of cavernous sinus or other types of syndromes will can be occur. The next clinical significance is pituitary adenoma. We can write pituitary adenoma. The pituitary gland lies between the two paired cavernous sinus and abnormally growing pituitary adenoma sitting on the bony thalassecum will expand in the direction of least distance and eventually compress the cavernous sinus. In this, the tumor will causes the compression of cavernous sinus, and the cavernous sinus syndrome may result from the mass effect of these tumors and cause ophthalmoplegia, Ophthalmoplegia is due to the compression of 3, 4, and 6 nerves, and the characteristics of ophthalmoplegia is fixed and dilated pupil, and also causes the ophthalmic sensory loss, ophthalmic sensory loss by V1. What is V1? The ophthalmic branch of trigeminal nerve, and the maxilla sensory loss, maxilla sensory W2, the V2, a complete lesion of the cavernous sinus disrupts cranial number 3, 4 and 6. Cranial number 3, 4 and 6, causing the total ophthalmoplegia, usually accompanied by a fixed and dilated pupil. Okay friends, I think this video will be helpful for you. Okay, please stay on our channel. We will upload more videos for you. If you like this video, please make a thumbs up and share to your friends, and subscribe our channel. Thank you. Bye friends, have a nice day. Okay, thanks for watching Interactive Medicine. If you like this video, make a thumbs up and share to your friends and subscribe our channel. Bye friends, have a nice day.